Okay, boys and girls. Today we're going to be studying the poetic techniques that authors of poetry use. Okay, we're going to be analyzing those techniques. The materials that you need today, I want you to make sure you have all this stuff, is 2 poems, one titled Once the Wind, which you looked at yesterday, the other titled The Final Laugh, which is in the same packet as Shadows, which is what you worked on yesterday. Third piece of material that you need is a chart, which you also have in your red reading folder, titled Poets Use Techniques Such As. It's actually on the other side of Once the Wind. So we're gonna play a little poetry bingo, okay? We're gonna have to do this in a virtual way, not as we would have played it in the classroom. I want you to look at that chart that's titled Poets Use Techniques Such As. That's what you're gonna need to use. Together, we're gonna read Once the Wind. And we're going to see how many of the techniques from that chart you can find the author of Once the Wind using. All right? Little challenge. I'll read with my voice. You're going to read along with your eyes. Before we even get started, though, I want you to think about this. Some of those poetry techniques, you're going to note, if you notice some of those examples from the chart while we're reading Once the Wind, I want you to think about why the author might have used those techniques. We always say that authors of any genre always have a purpose. A word is like a calorie. Everyone matters, right? You may very well be asked a question about the author's techniques or the author's craft. Why was the author doing something special? Okay, and this is a great strategy to use so that you're prepared for those questions. If you think about why now, then you'll be able to answer those questions later. All right. Before we do that, let's see. We can go ahead and read Once the Wind. We'll read it together. Okay, so I'm reading with my voice. You're reading with your eyes. Once the Wind by Sheikh Keen. Once the wind said to the sea, I am sad. And the sea said, why? And the wind said, because I am not blue like the sky or like you. So the sea said, what's so sad about that? Lots of things are blue or red or other colors too, but nothing, neither sea nor sky can blow so strong or sing so long as you. And the sea looked sad. So the wind said, why? All right, so in Once the Wind, you might have found examples of white space, stanzas, and line breaks. Excellent. So if you look back at that chart that you have, the one titled Poets Use Techniques Such As, you'll notice that the first 3 techniques listed on the chart, line breaks, stanzas, and white space, are examples that we noticed the author of Once the Wind using. But now we have to ask ourselves, but why? Why did the author use these techniques? What was their purpose? What were they thinking? What were they feeling? What were they trying to get across to us by using these techniques? So as we said, I think we can all agree we noticed the use of white space, stanzas, and line breaks. Good job. But let's think about why. Why might the author have used a line break between lines 9 and 10? What do you think? Think about it for a minute. This would be a time when we turn and talk, so we'll just say, sit and think. Could it be, or it could be, that because the first stanza focuses on the wind being sad, and the second stanza switches to the sea making the wind feel better? All right, so remember I said earlier that you might be asked questions about the techniques that poets use as they're writing their poetry, right? And because we use that awesome strategy of asking ourselves, why did the author use this technique while they were writing? Now we're already prepared to answer these types of questions. So let's see, let's try this question. In the poem Once the Wind, there's a break between stanzas and between lines 9 and 10. What effect is achieved by placing the break between lines 9 and 10? A, it makes the poem easier to read. B, it shows the sea is sad. C, it creates a rhyme pattern. D, it separates how the wind feels from what the sea says. Sit and think for a minute. Remember our test taking strategies that we always use. We don't ever jump to a conclusion. We don't ever just pick our first thought. We thoughtfully consider every single one. A, B, C, D, It could be anything. We eliminate the ones that we think are can be eliminated easily. We're usually left with one or two, and we choose the best answer. So if you chose D, it separates how the wind feels from the C says, then you are correct. Let's try one more. In lines 5 and 21 of Once the Wind, what effect is achieved by placing the word why on a line by itself? A, it emphasizes that the sea and the wind still have unanswered questions. B, it shows the reader that the wind and the sea are the same. C, it suggests that the sea rejects the wind's answer. D, it indicates that the sea and the wind are behaving like children. Sit and think a minute. We're considering every option. We're not jumping to a conclusion. We're thinking about why. Why did the author use these techniques? This is all about considering and analyzing the poet's craft. So if you chose A, it emphasizes that the sea and the wind still have unanswered questions. You are correct. All right. Now I want you to go off and read the poem, The Final Laugh, which is in the same packet you worked in yesterday. It started with shadows. Then I want you to answer the multiple choice questions that go along with it. Tomorrow I'll post the answer key and you can see if you were right. See you later.